the second chapter begins. You're invited to the deadliest party of the season.
Chapter 2: Poisoned Champagne. The silk sheets, twisted and tangled around Jackie's legs like the remnants of a lover's embrace, whispered against her skin as she stirred. A low, satisfied sigh escaped her lips, a lingering echo of the raw, freaky energy that had filled the room just hours before. The memory of Zane's touch, the way his hands had moved over her body, sent a shiver down her spine, a purely physical recollection devoid of any emotional warmth. She'd made that abundantly clear from the start, a sharp line drawn in the sand of their casual encounters. Zane was an extension of her world, an assistant who sometimes warmed her bed, but never anything resembling a boyfriend. There were no perks beyond the occasional shared pleasure. Jackie didn't believe in the messy complications of real intimacy, especially not with someone on her payroll. Her desirability was the perk, a commodity she dispensed as she saw fit, and Zane was damn lucky she let him taste it at all. It was, frankly, above his pay grade, a fleeting indulgence in her otherwise meticulously controlled existence. She stretched, a small wince betraying her composure as a sharp pain shot through her left shoulder, a jarring reminder of the previous night's chaos. The memory of the explosion at the awards show flashed through her mind, the searing agony of the metal fragment tearing into her flesh. It was a dull ache now, a constant, throbbing pulse beneath the surface, but a constant reminder of how close she had come to. Well, she didn't even want to articulate the thought, the finality of it too chilling to confront in the quiet pre-dawn hours. The events of the awards show, the brush with oblivion, had left her on edge, a subtle tremor beneath her carefully constructed facade. The idea of facing the public again, even for a fleeting, carefully orchestrated moment, felt like a monumental task, a draining of her already depleted reserves. She needed time, a sanctuary to process the near-death experience, to regain the carefully curated composure that was her shield. The thought of encountering the press, the relentless barrage of flashing cameras, the intrusive, probing questions that would inevitably follow, made her stomach churn with a knot of anxiety. Her shoulder throbbed again, a dull ache that mirrored the unease in her heart, a physical manifestation of the invisible wounds she carried. The image of the mangled stage, the sudden darkness, and the piercing screams were seared into her mind, playing on a loop that robbed her of any true peace. A long, luxurious shower washed away the lingering scent of sex, a reminder of the night's fleeting physical connection, and the sticky remnants of hairspray, the armor she wore for the stage. The water cascaded over her skin, a temporary balm for her frayed nerves and aching shoulder, a superficial cleansing that couldn't touch the deeper disquiet that had taken root within her. She scrubbed at her skin, as if hoping to erase the memory of the explosion, the feeling of vulnerability that still clung to her like a shroud. Yet, even as she emerged feeling physically refreshed, a sense of unease lingered, a prickling sensation on the back of her neck as if unseen eyes were watching her every move. She wrapped herself in a plush robe, the soft terry cloth a small comfort against the chill that had settled deep within her bones, a cold that emanated from something far more sinister than the night air. Pulling on a pair of her favorite Yeezy oversized sweatpants and a hoodie, she headed downstairs, drawn by the enticing aroma of chocolate croissants and rich, steaming hot chocolate. The scent, usually a source of comfort, felt strangely out of place this morning, a jarring contrast to the lingering tension of the past few days, a false note of normalcy in a world suddenly tilted on its axis. The kitchen, usually a vibrant space, felt eerily quiet, amplifying the persistent throb in her shoulder. She reached for a croissant, her hand trembling slightly, a stark reminder that the danger wasn't just a memory. It was a present reality, lurking just beneath the surface of her carefully crafted life. As she reached the bottom of the grand staircase, the front door burst open, startling her, the sudden intrusion shattering the fragile peace. Damar rushed in, his face etched with genuine worry, a stark contrast to his usual polished composure. His agent, a sharply dressed woman named Ms. Evans, trailing close behind, struggling to keep pace, her professional mask barely concealing a flicker of alarm. The sudden noise echoed through the grand foyer, making Jackie jump, her heart leaping into her throat. "Jackie, are you all right?" Damar's voice was thick with concern, the usual smooth baritone roughened with an uncharacteristic urgency. "I've been worried sick. That could have killed you." He rushed to her, his hands hovering as if afraid to touch her, his eyes, usually so carefully controlled, searching her face with an almost desperate intensity for any sign of lasting injury. His presence, so unexpected and immediate, filled the space with a palpable sense of relief, momentarily pushing back the creeping dread. Damar's genuine distress surprised Jackie. She'd known him to be charming and charismatic, a master of public image, adept at turning on the charm for the cameras, but this raw display of emotion felt different, authentic in a way that caught her off guard. He was undeniably gorgeous, a superstar with a voice that could melt glaciers and a smile that could light up a stadium. But beneath the polished exterior, Jackie sensed a vulnerability, a depth that intrigued her, a flicker of something real in the carefully constructed persona he presented to the world. It was a side of Damar she hadn't seen before, a glimpse behind the carefully curated celebrity, and it sent a surprising warmth spreading through her chest. "I'm fine, Damar," she assured him, managing a soft smile, the effort of it pulling slightly at the corners of her mouth. "A little shaken, but I'm okay." She instinctively rubbed her shoulder, trying to subtly ease the throbbing pain, a constant reminder of the fragility of her situation and of the invisible enemy still lurking. Good. He took a deep breath, visibly relieved, the tension in his shoulders easing slightly. "I won't let anything happen to you, Jackie. I'm going to be your bodyguard next week at the NAACP Awards." His tone was firm, his decision made, leaving no room for argument. Jackie laughed, the sound light and carefree, a welcome break from the suffocating tension that had been clinging to her. "You don't have to do that, Damar." It was a polite refusal, but a part of her, a very small and secret part, felt a surprising flutter of warmth at his possessive declaration. "I want to," he insisted, his voice firm, brooking no argument, gently taking her hand in his. His touch sent a surprising warmth through her, a pleasant contrast to the cold dread that had been her constant companion. "We're both going anyway, so why not go together? I can't bear the thought of anything happening to you again. Plus, it's time I locked you down, Jackie. No more dating anyone else. Fuck that single life bullshit. I thought I lost you last night." His thumb stroked the back of her hand, a tender gesture that sent a jolt through her. A flutter of something unfamiliar stirred in Jackie's chest, a warmth that had nothing to do with physical attraction. This was different from the casual encounters she was used to, the fleeting connections that left no lasting impression. This wasn't just a superficial attraction, a momentary spark. This felt real, or at least it had the potential to be, a dangerous possibility that both intrigued and unsettled her. A reckless thought crossed her mind. Maybe, just maybe, it was time to consider something more serious, to let someone past the carefully constructed walls she had built around herself. The idea was terrifying and exhilarating all at once, but first, she had to figure out who was trying to kill her. That little detail, the very real threat hanging over her head, couldn't be overlooked. The pain in her shoulder, a physical manifestation of the danger she was in, reminded her of the urgency of the situation, the chilling reality that her life was still in peril. The days leading up to the NAACP Awards became a whirlwind of activity. Damar, true to his word, effectively moved his entire entourage into Jackie's mansion, transforming the spacious living room into a makeshift rehearsal studio. The normally serene atmosphere of her home was replaced by a constant hum of energy, the rhythmic beats of music practice, the murmurs of vocal coaching, the precise instructions of the choreographer, and the low chatter of stylists and security personnel. They meticulously rehearsed Jackie's performance, refining every note, every movement, every glance, ensuring a flawless presentation for the prestigious event. Damar was intensely focused, his concern for her safety fueling his dedication to ensuring everything went perfectly. Jackie, despite the constant activity and the buzzing energy around her, found her shoulder aching more frequently, the relentless stress exacerbating the physical injury and making it harder to focus. The mansion, usually a sanctuary of calm, now felt like a high-stakes command center, constantly reminding her of the looming threat. "Sure, go ahead, Dre," Damar said easily, handing him the glasses without a second thought. Dre, still grinning, raised the glasses in a mock salute to the surrounding crowd, his movements uninhibited and carefree. Then he took a long, slow sip from each, one after the other. He lowered the glasses, a strange expression flickering across his face, his eyes widening almost imperceptibly. A moment later, his eyes rolled back in his head, his body stiffened, and he slumped forward, crashing to the floor with a heavy, sickening thud. The clinking of glasses and the murmur of conversation instantly ceased, replaced by a collective gasp of horror. Panic erupted. Screams pierced the air, shrill and disbelieving, as the festive atmosphere shattered into chaos. Cameras flashed wildly, capturing the horrifying scene, their lenses coldly documenting the tragedy. Damar and Jackie rushed to Dre's side, their faces pale with horror. Their earlier joy completely evaporated. They frantically checked his pulse, their fingers trembling against his wrist, but there was no response. He was gone. The shock of it was like a physical blow. The room descended into utter pandemonium. Security personnel swarmed the area, attempting to control the panicked crowd, their authoritative voices barely cutting through the rising tide of fear. The police arrived moments later, sirens wailing, their flashing blue lights cutting through the confusion, painting the opulent ballroom in an eerie, unsettling glow. The champagne glasses, now sinister artifacts, were quickly collected as evidence and placed carefully in sealed plastic bags by investigators. It was immediately clear someone had poisoned the champagne, and it was meant for Damar and Jackie. The realization hung in the air, cold and deadly, a terrifying reminder that the threat was not just a memory from a concert, but a present, escalating danger. Meanwhile, miles away, back at her salon after styling Jackie, Rae, still deeply shaken by the near-fatal incident at the awards show, was conducting her own amateur investigation. She couldn't shake the feeling that something was deeply wrong, that the attempt on Jackie's life was part of a larger, more sinister plot. She was determined to uncover the truth, to protect her friend, even if it meant venturing into dangerous territory that extended far beyond her usual role. The shadow of death had fallen upon them, and Rae knew, with chilling certainty, that the game had just begun. Her mind, sharp and analytical, was already sifting through every detail she could recall from the chaotic night, searching for the missing piece. Suddenly, her phone buzzed. Aaliyah, her assistant, flashed across the screen. She answered, her voice tight with anxiety, a premonition of bad news coiling in her gut. "Hey, what's going on? What happened? Did something happen to the dress?" The thought of a wardrobe malfunction, however minor, seemed almost ludicrous now. "Rae, it's bad. Jackie's asking for you. Just get here quick." Aaliyah's voice was strained, barely above a whisper, laced with a fear that sent a jolt of ice through Rae's veins. She hung up abruptly, leaving Rae's mind to conjure the worst possible scenarios, each more terrifying than the last. The phone dropped from her hand, clattering against the polished salon floor, its sound drowned out by the sudden pounding in her ears. Rae sped through the night, her tires screaming in protest as she navigated the winding roads toward Jackie's mansion, the familiar route now a blur of desperate urgency. When she arrived, the mansion was a scene of controlled chaos. Police cars lined the driveway, their flashing lights painting the manicured lawns in an eerie blue glow, reflecting off the polished surfaces of luxury vehicles. Inside, the air was thick with tension and the murmur of hushed voices, a stark contrast to the usual vibrant energy of Jackie's home. Jackie sat on a sofa, wrapped in a blanket, her face pale and drawn, a fragile ghost of her usual vibrant self. Damar stood beside her, his arm around her shoulder, his own expression a mixture of shock and grief, his composure barely holding. "Rae." Jackie's voice was weak, but her eyes lit up with relief when she saw her friend, a flicker of hope in the depth of her despair. "Thank God you're here." "What happened, Jackie?" Rae asked, her heart pounding in her chest, the words almost a demand for clarity amidst the confusion. Damar explained, his voice heavy with emotion, the words catching in his throat. Someone poisoned the champagne. Dre, he drank it. He's He's gone. The final word hung in the air, a devastating pronouncement. Rae's breath hitched. Dre, always laughing, always cheerful, dead. A wave of nausea washed over her, a bitter taste rising in her throat. She looked at Jackie and Damar, her gaze searching their faces for any sign of injury, her protective instincts overriding her own shock. "Are you two okay?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. "We're fine," Jackie said, her voice trembling, the aftershocks of fear still rippling through her. "We didn't drink it." "Dre?" He grabbed our glasses. She couldn't finish the sentence, the image of Dre's collapse undoubtedly playing in her mind. Rae nodded, her mind already working, piecing together the horrifying implications. This was no accident. This was a deliberate attempt on their lives, a clear, deadly escalation. "The police are investigating, right?" she asked, though she already knew the answer. Damar nodded. "They've taken the champagne glasses. They're talking to everyone." "I'm going to look around," Rae said, her eyes scanning the room, already mentally cataloging potential evidence. There might be something they missed. Her gaze swept over the luxurious furnishings, the lingering traces of the party, now overshadowed by the grim reality of a crime scene. She started her own quiet investigation, carefully examining the area around the bar where the champagne had been poured, her movements meticulous and deliberate. An hour passed, punctuated by the hushed tones of police interviews and the occasional clink of evidence being processed. Rae's search yielded nothing until she spotted something glinting beneath the edge of the bar near the discarded champagne cork. It was an AirPod. She carefully picked it up, flipping it in her fingers, noting its pristine condition. It looked brand new, almost too new to have been carelessly dropped. She sniffed the champagne cork. A faint, almost metallic scent lingered, subtle but unmistakable beneath the faint sweetness of champagne. This was the first concrete piece of evidence, a tiny thread in a vast, tangled web. Rae pocketed the AirPod and approached the small group of people still lingering in the living room, their faces etched with varying degrees of shock and fatigue. "Has anyone seen or heard anything unusual?" she asked, her voice low and even. "Or is anyone missing an AirPod?" Several people shook their heads, their eyes glazed with residual fear. Then she turned to Zane, who was standing slightly apart from the others, looking unusually withdrawn. "Zane?" He hesitated, his eyes darting away from hers, a fleeting flicker of something she couldn't quite place. "No, nothing. Why?" His voice was a touch too quick, a hint of defensiveness in his tone. "Just checking," Rae said, her gaze fixed on his face, observing the subtle tightening of his jaw, the almost imperceptible tremor in his hand. He seemed nervous, more than anyone else in the room. But was it the genuine shock of witnessing Dre's death? Or was he hiding something far more sinister? She couldn't be sure yet. There were so many people here, so many potential suspects, each with their own secrets. She would keep her eye on Zane, a silent promise forming in her mind. But she knew one thing for sure. The stalker was closer than they thought. The game had just become deadly. Well, my loyal truth seekers, Miss Jones here, and honey, do I have the tea for you from Chapter 2, Poison Champagne. What's good, my gossip gurus? Your girl Miss Jones is back, and let me tell you, this chapter, it's serving up drama hotter than a summer sidewalk. We pick up with our main girl Jackie waking up from what sounds like a very physical night with her assistant Zane. She's all no feelings, just benefits, and above his pay grade kinda talk. Ouch! But before she can bask in her independent woman glory, she's hit with a reminder of that explosion from the last chapter, her shoulders throbbing, and honey, she's shook. The awards show nearly took her out, and she's not about to face the cameras just yet. Talk about a rude awakening. Damar's grand entrance and Zane's exit stage left, just as Jackie's trying to find some peace and quiet, and maybe a chocolate croissant, because even divas need comfort food, and busts Damar. And let me tell you, he is worried sick. He's not just charming for the cameras, my dears. This man is genuinely concerned, saying he thought he lost her and wants to be her bodyguard at the NAACP Awards. Swoon! And get this, He even says he's gonna lock her down and no more dating anyone else. Chilly! Jackie's surprised, and honestly, so am I. Could this be the real deal for our Ice Queen?
Welcome to the latest chapter of Rae Leon's Style and Suspicion. Let's uncover the secrets together.